You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. I have no idea what happened to the opening music there, but I'm sure that Mr. Producer will figure it out and we'll get it right next time.
I'm not sure why you couldn't hear it because it was playing and it was going out over the system.
I could hear it just fine, but it went through a drag where it slowed down and then it went too fast and then it normaled out again at the end of it.
That sounds like a latency issue.
Latency. I thought we were latent free. Anyway.
Not now that everybody wants free birth control, brother. There's going to be latex everywhere.
There you go. I guess we're back to the latex. Look, folks, good evening. It's great to have you here with us. Sorry I couldn't be with you last week, but I'm back as usual. I'm that bad penny I keep turning up. Before we get rolling tonight, there's a little thing out there circulating on Twitter right now that kind of caught my attention. And I just want to make a quick point, if I could, with everybody. When you join Twitter, when you open a Twitter account, there is this little thing that they ask you to read and abide by that are called the Terms of Service. The TOS, you may have heard it, called. There are rules to be on Twitter. Okay, you can call it free speech. They may even advertise themselves as free speech. But folks, let me tell you something. True free speech is what's offered on this program. You see, if you call in on this program, I don't censor you. I might hang up the phone on you when I think you've had enough. But you're going to get your say as long as you don't abuse the privilege, okay? You're on my platform. I do believe in a free exchange of ideas. You don't always have to agree with me, okay? You don't have to like what I'm saying. I don't have to like what you're saying. The fact is you can say whatever you want to at home. You can yell into your computer. You can launch your own radio program. You can launch your own podcast, whatever you want to do. You have that right. When you are on somebody else's privately owned platform, you have to follow their rules. End of story. If you don't, you may lose your privilege to be there. You can like that. You cannot like that. That's your prerogative. But that's the simple fact of the matter. Okay? So don't be out there whining that some quote unquote, and this is a really let me actually see if I can find the quote, because this was really good, because they talk about Twitter misrepresenting themselves. You want to talk about misrepresenting something? Let me find you this, because this is great. It's coming up now. This is really good. I really wanted to touch on this. Of course, my iPad's going to sit here and take a minute to queue it up, but let's just continue on this train of thought for a minute, okay? Because it's the same thing over on Facebook. You see, Facebook will censor you if you say something that they deem violates their terms of service. They may suspend your account. Is that censorship? I don't view it as true censorship so much as I see it forcing you to either adhere or leave. Okay? Now, again, you can disagree with me. That's your prerogative. I personally do not care for censorship. Okay. So what we have here is we have the quote-unquote conservative account of Ricky Vaughn. And this is not me saying that he's a conservative, because I don't believe he is. What I believe he is a white supremacist, scum of the earth son of a bitch. And I don't really care if he likes that or not, but that's what he is. He hides himself behind being a quote-unquote nationalist, He's not a nationalist. He's a racist scumbag. And there are people out here defending him because he was stupid enough to violate the terms of service on Twitter and get his account suspended. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that he can't come back to Twitter. That doesn't mean that Twitter doesn't want him to be able to speak. That means that he violated their rules and they are slapping his wrist and they're telling him, you have to follow our rules or it will get worse. Okay, it's the same thing. Like if you were in middle school and you told some kid to kiss your ass and you got taken to the office and you got 3 licks from the assistant principal. Okay, that's what it is. He's not telling you can't say that. He's telling you can't say that in school. See, that's how it works, folks. That's how it works. So all the idiots out there scream, bring Ricky back, bring Ricky back. Screw Ricky. Ricky's an idiot. All right. Now enough of that crap. Let's get on to some more important things. Let's talk about the debate last night. If you were well, before we even do that, hey, Mr. Producer, you got the phone line number handy? Let's give that out because I don't have it handy.
Give me a second. I can grab it.
I'm sorry, what?
Give me just 1 sec. I can grab it.
Okay. Well, while he's grabbing the phone number, let's go ahead and start on the debate. And just break in when you have it there, Rick. I'm sorry. I just don't have it in front of me. I need to write it down. So, anyway, last night there was the vice presidential debate between Tim Kaine, Hillary's number 2, and Mike Pence, Trump's number 2. And for as much of it as I could stand to watch, the whole debate seemed like a whole bunch of number 2. Kaine was incessant with his interruptions, 72 of them. 72 times in 90 minutes, Kaine interrupted Pence on Pence's speaking time. That's incredible. And the moderator let him get away with it. Of course. Why wouldn't she? So anyway, look here. Here's the phone number, folks. It's 405-648-4798. That's 405-648-4798. And the phone line is open through the entire show. You don't have to wait for a cue to call. You don't have to talk about what I'm talking about. If you got something different on your mind, we can talk about that. Like I said, I'm all about a free exchange of ideas within reason on my time. I don't mind it one bit. You want to tell me I'm a dumbass? I'll give you your say, and then I'll hang up on you, and I'll show you how I'm not, and that's fine. But anyway, this debate, you had the yapping dog, and I will give Pence some credit. Pence definitely won the debate, but to say that you won that debate, what's a great analogy for it is to say that you were only arrested for beating your wife. I mean, really, it was bad. It was bad. So, Pence handled himself quite well. He did some things that Trump could, quite frankly, take a lot of lesson on, as far as how to dismiss the absurd without getting caught up in it. Kaine was just a yapping dog who was there to wave Hillary's flag. And I guess if that's what you go into the debate trying to do, then maybe you have to say that Tim Kaine won based on that, because he certainly didn't score any points. I mean, look, It's like this. If you do a debate on Tuesday night and on Wednesday you have frickin' Vox of all people trashing the Democrat for a piss poor performance, and all he could do was yap like a little puppy and interrupt. That's pretty bad when Vox slams a Democrat and hammers their head into the ground. So, take that for what it's worth. There were some interesting points brought up. Pence was caught a little off guard in trying to defend the indefensible. There are some comments that Trump made that Pence just dismissed, and I would have really, really developed a lot of respect and admiration for Pence if he had said, you know what, Donald Trump did say those things. He may have said them in the heat of the moment, and I wasn't part of his campaign when some of those things were said at that point, but I don't approve of them, and I would certainly hope that he would work hard to correct those. Something along that line. I would have really liked to seen Pence stand up for just what's right instead of waving the Trump flag. You want to talk about really solidifying yourself for 2020 or 2024, if that's the case for Pence. I'd have really had a lot more respect for him if he had actually taken it on the chin and learned how to rotate into a spinning back fist, if you will, my MMA background there. Take the jab on the chin and rotate smoothly into a spinning back fist and deliver a counter blow to the back of Kane's head. He could have really easily done that, but he was ill prepared for that, I believe. Everything else he seemed to handle pretty well. He stuck to the facts. He drove a lot of it home. But again, this was basically just a night of two piles of excrement trying to polish the orifices that dropped them there. That's about as polite as I can put it on the air, folks. I could be a lot more crude. We're not FCC regulated, but I chose to do that for your benefit, not mine. And anyway, that's pretty much my take on last night's debate, I should say. Maybe you have a different point of view that you'd like to express. Again, that number is 405-648-4798. Feel free. The line's open the whole show. Now, moving on to some important news that you need to know. Okay? In fiscal year 2016, which ended on Friday, by the way, the federal debt increased $1.42 trillion. Specifically, $1,422,827,047,452.46, according to the United States Treasury. At the close of business on September 30th, 2015, the last day of fiscal 2015, the debt was $18.15 trillion. And we are now, 1 year later, sitting at $19.573 trillion. Or if you want the big number, it's $19,573,444,713,936.79. Boom. So according to the Census Bureau's latest estimate, there were 118,215,000 households in the United States as of June. That means the 1 year increase in the federal debt of $1.422 trillion in fiscal year 2016 equaled about $12,036 per household. That's right. They just put us all $12,000 per home in America deeper in debt. The total federal debt of $19.573 trillion now equals approximately $165,575 per household. The increase in the federal debt in fiscal 2016 was larger than it might have been had Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew not declared what the government calls a debt issuance suspension period on March 16, 2015, and kept it going until November 2nd, 2015, when President Barack Obama signed the Bipartisan Budget Act, a spending deal he cut with Republican leaders in Congress. Now, to call it a deal is generous if you are a conservative, and it is slighting it if you are liberal-minded. Basically, Obama bent Republican leadership in the House and the Senate over a chair and had his way with this Bipartisan Budget Act. Basically what he's been getting for his whole tenure in office from Congress. You know, they talk tough and then they don't do a damn thing. So during this debt issuance period, or issuance suspension period, the Treasury used what it calls, quote, extraordinary measures to freeze that portion of the federal debt, then subject to a legal limit set by Congress at a level just below that legal limit. These extraordinary measures largely amounted to changing the way the government accounted for government employee retirement funds, including the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund, the Postal Service Retiree Health Benefits Fund, and the Government Securities Investment Fund of the Federal Employees Thrift Savings Plan. While using its quote-unquote extraordinary measures, the Treasury said that portion of the debt subject to the limit was frozen at $18.112 trillion for 233 straight days. The day Obama signed the budget deal, the total federal debt jumped from $18.152 to $18.492 trillion, a one-day climb of $339,109,435,086.47. The budget deal suspended the debt limit until March 15th of 2017. So they're just going to continue to spend your money and my money, hence our money, all willy-nilly, and put us deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into debt as a nation, weakening our position globally, weakening our position in the financial markets, putting our financial market at risk. In the name of what? In the name of tax and spend liberalism. That's what. So anyway, I just thought you should know that, being that we just closed out the fiscal year. I thought you would love to know that you are now, where's that number? You are now $12,036 deeper in the hole for Uncle Sugar than you were last week. Anyway, now that the good news is over, let's carry on to what I like to call the insignificant people that make major news. Okay? And you'll get what I mean here in just a minute when I tell you that actor Leonardo DiCaprio, who is, by all accounts, a fine actor. He really is. He was at the White House the other day, and while with President Obama's South by South Lawn Festival of Ideas, Art, and Action, DiCaprio said that if you don't believe in climate change, you should not be allowed to hold public office. Now, this is another prime example of the left trying to redefine what you are and aren't allowed to think. This is thought police. This is Minority Report kind of crap. DiCaprio made the statement while introducing President Obama at the event, where they discussed a new climate change documentary that DiCaprio made with filmmaker Fisher Stevens. The documentary, entitled Before the Flood, premiered at the White House event and will be featured on the National Geographic Channel. Now, DiCaprio's quote was, and here it is, word for word, "If you do not believe in climate change, you do not believe in facts or in science or empirical truths, and therefore, in my humble opinion, should not be allowed to hold public office." Well, thank God that Leonardo DiCaprio was able to fly in from California on his private jet, emitting 40 metric tons of carbon waste into the atmosphere to help battle global warming. Mr. DiCaprio, stick to acting, because as a politician, you are a useless hypocrite. Just like your, I don't even want to call him a mentor, the guy that you're all gaga-eyed over, Obama. Okay? Huge hypocrite. Remember earlier in the year, Obama flew out to Alaska to do the big global warming thing? Yeah, 48 metric tons of carbon waste into the atmosphere each way for that. So anyway, DiCaprio said his documentary was designed to be released before the election. The film was developed to show the devastating impacts that climate change is having on our planet, and more importantly, what can be done if you'll only pay more taxes. DiCaprio. He didn't say it, but that's what he means. Our intention for the film was to be released before this upcoming election. The film follows DiCaprio as he travels to 5 continents and the Arctic, speaking to scientists, world leaders, activists, and local residents to gain a deeper understanding of this complex issue and investigate concrete solutions to the most pressing environmental challenge of our time. Ooh, so says the synopsis of the documentary posted by National Geographic anyway. I'm not reading all that crap. DiCaprio just gushing about this thing. Obama just said that we would abide by the Paris Treaty or Paris Accord. I don't think they're calling it a treaty because if they call it a treaty, then Congress has to get involved. So the Paris Agreement, maybe. How about the Paris double secret probation handshake on climate change? It's ridiculous. Okay, that one man can just go somewhere in the world and agree to do something without consulting the government, the checks and balances that are built into our government, and put our country on the hook for something that doesn't get discussed on a national level. It's ridiculous, and we have allowed this president to do that. And shame on Congress for it. Okay, shame on Congress. So anyway, that's about enough on the climate change crap. I'm sorry. I'm married to a scientist. I understand that weather works in cycles. We have been through ice ages. We have been through dry spells. We have been through hotter periods than normal. It happens on this earth, and when you take core samples, you see that in the sediment. It doesn't take a genius. And what we have here is we have this conglomeration of quote-unquote scientists out there who are willing to whore out their results on climate change in exchange for more government money to do the studies they really want to do. Take that for what it's worth. Okay? That's the end of that story. We're going to put it to bed. It's the bottom of the hour. It's time to take a break and pay the bills. Want you to sit tight for a couple of minutes. We will be back in just a few with the second half of the show. Maybe.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me. Ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
Little pink houses. Yeah, love that song. Anyway, we're back. Welcome back. You got something on your mind? Want to call? Want to stream? Want to yell at me? I don't care. Number's 405-648-4798. That's 405-648-4798. So, also, be sure you stay tuned after my show tonight because you got Jess POV coming up. Great show. If you haven't heard her on the air before, you're going to love her. Just stay tuned. I don't know what comes on after Jess. We've been juggling that slot, but I'm sure that Mr. Manager has a great lineup for you after Jess as well. So just stay tuned for that. It's Wednesday night on KLRN, and Wednesday night TV sucks. Even though there's a new season of TV out there, Wednesday always sucks. So just stay right here and do yourself a favor. All right. So as we spiral downward into this election hurtling at us at a snail's pace, it seems, on November 8th. We have yet another scandal set to be ignored by the media that was supposed to dog Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton as she heads full throttle and buckle-kneed into campaign mode for the election. Just as the waves concerning her use of a private email server during her tenure as Secretary of State begin to die down, WikiLeaks published roughly 20,000 emails from the Democratic National Committee's officials that implicated the DNC in markedly favoring Clinton over Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders during the primaries. But on the heels of these email-related scandals comes a new hurdle for the Clinton campaign to handle. Get this, okay? There won't be any handling of this. They're just going to ignore it. They're going to act like Teflon, like they always do, and just let it bounce off. They're going to just ignore it, okay? The IRS referred congressional charges for investigation against the Clinton Foundation to the tax agency's Exempt Operations Office last week. 64 House Republicans co-wrote a letter dated back on July 15th that requested that the IRS, the FBI, and the Federal Trade Commission investigate the foundation run by the Clinton family. In this letter, the members of Congress called into question the foundation's issues of public corruption pertaining to its initial tax-exempt filings. With its 501c3 status, the foundation's original philanthropic intentions have been undermined by its current activities, the House Republicans claim. The members of Congress that co-wrote this letter highlighted inconsistencies with the Foundation's initial tax-exempt status filing, Russian company Uranium One's unreported donations to the foundation in a pay-to-play pattern, and the Clintons' connections with Laureate International Universities, a for-profit education company. Tennessee Representative Marsha Blackburn said, "I don't know if it would be a super PAC or a for-profit entity. There sure is a lot of money going through there, and it seems the contributions would touch on Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and the Clinton Foundation. It's a hub of some kind of activity, and let's leave it to the IRS, the FBI, and the FTC to discern exactly what it is." The House members also claimed that the Clinton Foundation's activities cannot be ignored given the compelling public interest involved. Good point. The foundation has routinely gone behind its pledge to act in furtherance of charitable causes and beyond that scope of activities indicated in its initial filings with the IRS, the letter stated. The public corruption undermines the integrity of the representative government and institutions associated with elected or public officials. But the government's failure of government agencies to independently assess and investigate the validity of such allegations can have an even more damaging effect. So what Congress is asking is that each of those agencies review these allegations pursuant to their jurisdictional charge. Blackburn also blasted the IRS for what she sees as a double standard in who and what they choose to investigate, saying that they would go after conservative groups and religious groups and organizations, but they wouldn't be looking at the Clinton Foundation for years. It's as if they choose who they're going to audit and question, and that's not right. She said, in her opinion, there's a lack of good governance. There is the appearance of conflicts of interest, and there are continued questions about the financial dealings. So in response to the House Republicans' letter, IRS Commissioner John Koskinen, yes, the guy, that jackass, that is very likely to be impeached from his position, wrote his own letter dated on July 22nd in which he said, "We have forwarded the information you submitted to our exempt organization's program in Dallas." So this little investigation is just one more bothersome scandal that will never become because Clinton can just ignore it and they're going to protect her. But it's the thing is it needs to be brought out to the forefront because what this does is if they bring it out properly and they show the conflicts of interest, this really damages her as she's struggling to bolster her trustworthiness in the eyes of Americans and reverse the trend of dropping percentage points and polls pitting her against Trump. So anyway, who's to say, okay? Who's to say? Maybe they finally throw something at her that sticks. But after 53 dead bodies in the political wake of the Clinton political machine, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. So anyway, we got tonight, President Obama is set to pump up Hillary Clinton's foreign policy credentials at the, whatever they're speaking at, who cares? But look for him to omit references to their twin failures in Libya and Egypt. They don't talk about it a whole lot, but there's still a tremendous amount of turmoil in Libya that gets a lot of well-aired comeuppance, at least from Pence. I was really glad to see that last night out of Pence. After the ill-fated, we'll call it ill-fated, but after the killing of strongman dictator Muammar Gaddafi in October of 2011, to the deaths of 4 Americans that followed in Benghazi, to Clinton's subsequent efforts to cloud the reasons for that attack. The failure in Egypt earlier that year has garnered less scrutiny in the 2016 election. Caught by surprise by the so-called Arab Spring, the Obama administration gave its blessing for the overthrow of pro-American President Hosni Mubarak and then supported the radical Muslim Brotherhood that seized power. Let's explain that one away. Let's put her on the spot for that. That'd be a great topic Sunday night at the debate. Practically overnight, their country transformed from a picture of stability. I don't know about stability. I wouldn't call it stability. there was still some unrest in Egypt, folks. They're trying to paint it as a pretty picture. It really wasn't that pretty, but Mubarak did pretty much have Egypt under control for the most part. But now they are just one of the many turbulent Middle East countries that has oppressed its Christian minority, mismanaged its economy, and questioned its long-standing peace agreement with Israel. The Egyptian military eventually wrested power from the Muslim Brotherhood in a coup. The fact that the U.S. not only allowed but actually supported the overthrow of a Western-friendly strongman in a stable Middle Eastern country sent shivers of fear down the spines of all U.S.-aligned Gulf states. In February of this year, key Saudi officials traveled to Moscow to begin thawing relations with Russia, the state less powerful than the U.S., but now seen as more committed to defending its allies and interests in the Middle East. If the U.S. would readily abandon Mubarak, surely the Saudi royals could be next, right? I mean, it's a logical progression of thought. You can't trust Obama. He's already turned his back on Israel, in favor of Iran and Iraq. But the Obama-Clinton decision in Egypt wasn't the only thing to terrify American allies in the region. No. This administration actually moved against the advice of most regional experts to rebuild relations with Iran. Oh, somebody just mentioned that, didn't they? The single greatest enemy of both Israel and Saudi Arabia in the region, and also the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. The Obama administration first declined to support pro-democracy protests in the progressive nation in 2009, then ran through the Clinton-backed Iranian nuclear deal. It's quite striking that the administration was silent and showed no support for the protesters against the Iranian regime in its time of trouble in 2009. And 2 years later came out in support of the rebels in Egypt, said Daniel Pipes, president of the Philadelphia-based Middle East Forum. Pipes depicted Clinton as a cipher who was an ineffective Secretary of State during the Arab Spring crisis. She really had little to no impact on anything, he said. It was very much a White House decision, a White House operation. Why, ask yourself? Why do you have a Secretary of State if she's not going to be doing her job? It's a narrative that Clinton herself has at times encouraged. In her book, you probably missed it unless you buy a lot of books off the dollar rack, Hard Choices. She wrote that Obama overruled her efforts to push Mubarak to cede power to a successor. She wrote that she did not want to be seen as pushing out Mubarak without a clear plan for the future. She wrote that she, along with Vice President Joe Biden, National Security Advisor Tom Donilon, and Defense Secretary Robert Gates, battled younger White House aides who were swept up in the drama and idealism of the moment. Critics of the Democratic nominee for president argue that it's self-serving revisionism. Seb Gorka, Major General Matt Horner, they wrote in an emailed response to questions from Laura Ingram's website, LifeZet, that turmoil in Egypt complicated other U.S. goals in the region. Gorka went on to say Egypt is the key to stabilizing the region and defeating ISIS. Clinton was head of the U.S. foreign policy when the administration decided to side with the Muslim Brotherhood leader Mohammad Morsi, and then cold shoulder the current president Abdel al-Sisi after he saved Egypt from the Brotherhood, calling her completely culpable. Seb Gorka doesn't mix his words, so he's going to say it like it is. Kyle Scheidler, director of the threat assessment for the Washington-based Center for Security Policy. We've talked about Mr. Scheidler before. He was actually he was the one a couple of weeks back that I was telling you was actually in New York City at a counterterrorism summit the night that the dumpster bomb went off. But anyway, he basically said Clinton displayed the same questionable judgment in advocating that the United States join the Libyan civil war on the side of anti-government forces that were at best Islamist and at worst Al-Qaeda. Many experts conclude that Libya has become a failed state. It's quite clear that Clinton fully supported the intervention that was incredibly destabilizing, Scheidler went on to say. As for Egypt, Scheidler said that Obama foreshadowed U.S. policy early in his presidency. And then there's this nice, I'm going to read you this excerpt from the letter that he wrote, the whole letter out to LifeZet. This part says, "It seems fairly clear since early 2009 that Obama already was encouraging the Islamist democracy movement in the Middle East." Scheidler contrasted Obama's support for Mubarak's critics during the uprising against him with his failure to back the much larger protest movement against Morsi after he had taken power. The administration was sort of pulling the rug out from under Mubarak by saying it was time to go, and he was not going to be able to stay in power. Pipes of the Middle Eastern Forum said that there was a genuine democratic movement against Mubarak early on during the uprising. It was real, he said. The problem was that it didn't last in the sense that the Islamists who initially were reluctant quickly saw that it was gaining steam and decided it was something they wanted to take over, and did. And they were correct to say that. Pipes went on to say that the administration was far too slow to appreciate the danger posed by the Muslim Brotherhood. He pointed to National Intelligence Director James Clapper's 2011 comment that the Muslim Brotherhood was largely secular, a description he later backed off of. It was not obvious that the Islamists were taking over, Pipes said. That could be forgiven. A lot of people made mistakes. What's less forgivable is that they just don't understand the ideological nature of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, you take that for what it's worth. Hillary wants to run our country and be in charge of what's going to be done, but she didn't understand the Muslim Brotherhood and what it is and what it is about. But yet she wants to run the superpower of the world. You know, we still are. I mean, technically we still are. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, something to think about before you go pull a lever on November 8th. And let's see. We're going to press on here. We got, this is what we got. We got President Obama. Yeah, Barry. He's got about 3.5 months left in office. Okay, and I know everybody gets excited when they start seeing that small number, 3.5 months. But don't be fooled, okay, folks? There's still plenty of time for him to do lots of damage. He just ceded U.S. government control over the internet by relinquishing Commerce Department oversight of ICANN, which keeps track of website addresses and names. That is only the beginning of his late fourth quarter drive for the presidential legacy end zone, as you will, or if you will. Here are a few of the perils that lie ahead. Get out of jail free cards. Obama will retain the power of pardon until the moment Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton says, "So help me God," on the steps of the Capitol, January 20th. And it's certain that he intends to use it. Before his presidency is over, hundreds and hundreds of convicted drug felons will have their sentences commuted. We know that because hundreds already have. On August 3rd, he granted clemency to 214 inmates, a single-day record that made for a total of 562 for his presidency so far. More than the 9 previous presidents combined. according to the Washington Post. Most were drug dealers, and 67 of them were serving life sentences. Imagine the effort and risk to life and limb it took police officers to lock up these criminals who were polluting our society and killing our children with illegal drugs. Not to mention that all 67 that were serving life sentences were repeat offenders and were accused, or not only accused, but convicted of multiple crimes, including trafficking, including weapons charges, and including distribution. Okay? How many chances do you need? Obama's commutations come on top of the thousands of drug offenders and other federal prisoners who have had their sentences shortened and been released, and the many no longer even being charged because of federal charges or because of changes in federal sentencing guidelines. Okay? That's something you'll have to watch for with 3.5 months left of Obama. Okay? Here's something else that he's going to push real hard on. Okay? As part of Obama's plan to urbanize the suburbs, the Obama administration by the end of the year will likely finalize a regulation that would spur low-income Americans to take up residence in more affluent areas. The plan, which was proposed in June, would provide low-income Section 8 housing voucher recipients a bigger subsidy if they live in higher-income areas and less cash if they are in poorer neighborhoods. Even some Democrats think this idea is cockamamie, supposedly because it would make housing more expensive for low-income earners. Duh! They don't just move, they're kind of stuck where they are. Their job is their job, and they're good with that. They're hardworking people that will go to work and make that money, whatever that money is. They just can't afford to upgrade their lifestyle, but yet here's the government trying to upgrade people below them's lifestyle to that of lifestyle beyond them. But just maybe another reason for concern is the threat that limousine liberals may be forced, literally, to live with the consequences of their programs as the unwashed masses, if you will, that's what they like to call them, move in next door. The unwashed masses. Yeah. Now, that'd be me. Most times, anyway. Okay, so next up. The coast will soon be clear to bully Israel officially. Israelis fear that after Election Day, when Obama no longer cares about getting Jews to the polls to elect Democrats, he will turn forcefully against Israel. Among the concerns is that he could stick it to his old nemesis, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, by allowing passage in the United Nations of some kind of anti-Israeli resolution. Obama, who declared in his remarks to the world body last month that Israel cannot permanently occupy and settle Arab land, could permit the resolution outlining a peace settlement favorable to the Palestinians and then hand the fallout to his successor. There you go. That's another great legacy for Obama. And you can bet he's looking hard at that. Next up, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Both presidential candidates say they oppose the TPP, and the deal has significant roadblocks on Capitol Hill, but don't count Obama out yet. The president has already signaled he intends to make a major push to squeeze the measure through during a lame duck congressional session after the election. He's lining up the business lobby in Washington to work the halls of Congress, even summoning defeated GOP presidential candidate Ohio Governor John Kasich to the White House for a briefing room dog and pony show last month designed to promote the deal. Folks, this is where Kasich sells out Ohio. Ohio, you wonder where your jobs are? They're right here, and Kasich's helping them do it. The Republican leadership, joined at the hip with the Chamber of Commerce and other D.C. business bigwigs, wants the deal and knows that neither Clinton nor Trump would push it anytime soon. Come November, it may be now or never for TPP, and Obama intends to make it now. Okay, what else can he do? He can make Muslims a protected population. Now, get what I'm saying here, okay? The White House Friday dropped into the Federal Register a proposed rule that would make those of Middle Eastern and North African heritage a new racial category along with white, black, Hispanic, and Asian. Arabs are considered white right now, ostensibly applicable to those of all religious faiths, including Christians and even Jews. It doesn't take a PhD in demography to get that this is aimed at making a race out of Muslims. Just imagine with their new status the lawsuits that Muslims could launch, and imagine the new legal impediments that will be faced by officials charged with waging counterterrorism. Okay? Next up, and we're at the top of the hour, I have been given the green light for a couple of extra minutes, so bear with me for one or two. I promise I won't stretch it far. President Obama is considering changing decades of U.S. policy by declaring the United States would never be the first to use nuclear weapons. Though a recent New York Times report suggested it now looks less likely that he will issue such a declaration, the legacy-greedy president may still be tempted since he believes it would mark him in history as a great man who helped save the world from nuclear annihilation. But Obama's own advisors get that a no-first-use policy would rattle our allies. And, we do have problems that have to be used. It may be a deterrent for the behavior of enemies like North Korea, China, Russia. Who knows? Somebody in the Middle East might have a nuclear bomb in the making. I don't know who. Maybe the people that Obama gave the green light to go ahead and start making them. But, that's just me. Of course, this is just some of what awaits us in Obama's last 3.5 months. He can make more subtle mischief by, for example, refusing to enforce various laws and directing money toward domestic programs and foreign countries that strike his fancy. Less than 4 months before years of golf begin, he's going to make the most of it. You can count on that. Folks, that's the show tonight. Hope you got something useful out of it. I know I sure did. Want to take a minute to remind you to stay tuned for Jesse's POV coming up next right here on KLRN Radio. I am the Grouch. All going well. I should be back with you next week. Hopefully I'm not on my roof putting new shingles on, and hopefully there's a contractor doing that and not me. But anyway, it is what it is, and we'll do what we got to do. Just want to thank you for being here and say that I'll be back soon. Catch me on Twitter at TCC_Grouchy. I follow all Patriots back, and that means you too if you're a Patriot. If you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you likely need new friends. But you and they are welcome every Wednesday right here on the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. Peace out. God bless.
American way, we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our